Oh, it's a mausoleum. See the plaques on the walls in there. It's pretty cool. (1911), over 100 years old. Now they got the light on. Sorry, I don't have my good light, but welcome back to the great mysteries of the paranormal. We are here today back at the infamous Bachelor's Grove. See what else we can uncover here. Since the last time I tried to get to the well over there to show you guys, but that ending got botched. So we'll see what we can uncover here today and see if we can get to the well. So let's get into it, yeah? So this is the infamous lagoon of Bachelor's Grove, which the legends call for Al Capone supposedly dumping his bodies into this, which I really highly doubt. All the people that have been in this only say it's about 2 to 3 feet deep, and a lot of the grave markers have been actually unfortunately thrown in here, and a lot of them have been recovered, fortunately. So it's just really not as deep as you think. And plus, this also used to be a stone quarry for, I believe, the road that runs back behind this place. You can't really always believe the legends. Seems to be an old creek bed here a little bit. I'm seeing stone run all the way down here. Fun stuff. I don't come on this side too much, so I don't really know what's buried here. I can't say that I've really ever seen anything when I've come on this side, which is very seldom, but never hurts to look. This is a little treasure of the grove itself. This used to be a quarry mechanism. Most likely some sort of crane and pulley system to lift stone. Still makes you wonder how many more buried artifacts are here that are left to be discovered. Nature reclaims all. One stupid thing I would like to point out, I know it bothers people. Most of the time I can't breathe because I usually normally carry about 90 pounds of gear with me on my back, in my pack, because you never know what will happen out here. I've been in all sorts of ridiculous situations, and it's always good to be prepared. I'm a pretty decent hiker, so I've been through a lot with this, and you need your supplies beyond the basics. Fire starter, emergency food, emergency tents, spray, emergency water filters, whatever you can stock up on. If you do this type of thing, please do it, because you never know if you're in a dangerous situation. It could be at any time. It's always good to have it and not need it, rather than need it and not have it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get soaked. Yeah, that one got me good. Not very fun when it's 40 degrees and raining. Okay, so we're getting close to the well. I head up right here usually. Here's the grove. Yeah, 90 pounds of gear on your back constantly definitely puts you out of breath pretty easy. Maybe one of these days I'll go out here just one time without it, just to show you the difference. So the subject of astrology, it's an iffy one. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I can explain so it makes a little more sense to most. It's not really a magical thing to start off. The thing is about astrology, it's more or less of when it gets cold outside, you put on a coat. When the seasons change and it gets warm, you take your coat off and then you're more comfortable. That's how I see how astrology generally works. We are governed by the cycles of the celestial bodies, and there is a lot that goes into it. You know, you have women, feminine cycles that go into it. By the lunar calendar, we rise and sleep by the rotational period of the sun. Lunar and tidal forces affect fishing and sea expeditions. It's all sorts of stuff like that, you know. It's not a magical thing where it's just going to affect your consciousness and you're going to rise up and become a spirit and leave the earthly physical flesh realm. It's more or less you wake up according to the cycle of the sun. It's a science more or less that we just have kind of forgotten and we don't understand now because of that. So if we can dive back into that and maybe look into it more, we'd probably understand it a lot better. Daily horoscopes are like, I don't really have anything to say about those. I honestly think those are kind of junk. You know, it's sometimes it hits the nail on the head, but coincidence, but at the same time coincidence, no such thing as a coincidence. So everything we do you gotta remember, we are of the earth itself. We have risen up out of the mud. We are created from the literal mud of the planet that we reside on. So I can say astrology definitely is true to a certain extent. It's just not how people perceive it to be. This place never ceases to interest me. There's so much buried history back here. I wish I can get more time to uncover it all. Well, the well is over there. I'll be heading there shortly for you guys. So Bachelor's Grove is over there. One thing I wanted to note about this place, historical records, this road, as you can see over there, actually still runs this way. This is all asphalt. And the road used to run straight all the way through to, I believe Harlem was still in existence at the time, way back then. But back to astrology, one is able to actually use the planetary bodies within rituals and magic, which can be pretty powerful if you know what you're doing. You can tap into the home planet of the earth itself and work with her, and your ritual will be double, triple the power if you know what you're doing. Planetary magic actually is pretty fun too. You can look at all the charts and see what corresponds to what and designate your ritual for certain times, and that way they will be even more effective and more powerful. I can't say that I have much experience with planetary magic. I've only done it twice, I believe. The one time was astounding. It was amazing. I traveled to Mars within a dream, and for some reason Mars had satellites around it. Who knows if it's true or not, but you know, dreams usually are pretty accurate, so I can't rule that out. But within the dream, I traveled there, traveled back. There's some sort of communication between the satellites, the planet, and myself, and the ritual outcome that I was aiming for actually came true. Which at the time I was aiming for peace and prosperity, and it actually definitely helped. Alright, so let's get you guys to the ancient well that we found, yeah? And there it is. Well, not the well in particular, but this used to be a silo. First, years ago, I had no clue what this was, but this is a foundation for a silo now that I found out recently. So there's good history here. No idea what it is, but definite stone foundations. This is it. Yeah, this is the well, right here. Old well. That right there is a clay main line for sewage. Not too sure why it's there. I mean, wells usually produce clean water to drink from, so I don't know why they would be dumping their sewage in it. Unless someone just threw that there and it got buried a little. I don't know. If I recall correctly, this right here could have possibly been the front door step to a house. I have no idea. I don't know the layout here because I don't see any other foundations other than these couple stones. I was looking at this last time. It does seem like a foundation stone, but I can't verify it because I can't see anything else around this area. But it dips in for a reason here, so it could have been a crawl space. So yeah, I definitely think they had two wells here, which I kind of find fascinating because if this was the front door, you have 1 and 2 wells right on each side of your front door. So I guess which I imagine they probably had an awning, you know, so it probably was a nice house. You just walk out your front door and grab clean water. Easy living off grid. Alright, so we're gonna do a quick test here before we go. See, it obviously does work. We found this. So anyone that knows me, I'm not big into the tech because I'm a firm believer that the body already has all that it needs to communicate with the paranormal, but we'll do this test anyway, just for kicks. Any divine spirits that are out here, please illuminate this ball for me. Yeah, the communication in my head is really just, they're really just not choosing to, so tell me it's basically pointless. So I don't blame them. It really is pointless because I can literally just communicate with them through my head anyway. It is what it is. I do thank you, spirits of the grove. So this right here is a walnut. They are extremely common in my area. They usually have very thick husks on it. They're very tough to break off, and it's very fibrous, so you gotta really like hack away at it to get to this outer shell, and then it's got another inner shell, and then you finally get to the nut, and the nuts are very, very delicious. If you guys like foraging too, it's definitely up my alley. I can teach you a lot about that as well. It's always good to know your land so you can survive if you ever need to. Come across berries and plants and all sorts of stuff that you can actually survive off out here if you ever get lost, and you know, you can make it out that way. Another good pointer is you need to know how to filter water correctly out here too. If you ever get stranded and you need a source of water that you can't drink, you can boil it for one, which is obviously the best way to do it. If not, get a life straw so you can actually know your water will be safe to drink. You can use iodine tablets, or I don't really suggest this as much. It's really just to filter the water so it's cleaner. It's not guaranteed to remove parasites and bacteria, but you can make filters. And the way you do that, you make a fire, and then as the fire burns down, you can use the charcoal within the fire. You grind it up. It's very easy, it's very soft, you can grind it very easy. Put it in a bottle or something, and then add some sand to it as well. It never hurts. And then you dump your water on top of it, and as the water runs through it, the water will get filtered through the sand and the charcoal, because the charcoal actually picks up a lot of poisons, which will also aid in safety of drinking of water that is possibly contaminated. But it doesn't guarantee the fact of removing parasites and bacteria, like I said. So it's still very wise to boil your water before you drink it. Well, another day in the dust, guys. Make sure you subscribe for a chance to win an arrowhead, and I will see you in the next video. Adios.